I'm Bridget Swear with the Front Porch Coalition. I'm the Director of Communications and Outreach. I think it's important that we start discussing the epidemic of suicide in our community because it is rampant. And the more that we have conversations surrounding it, the more awareness that we can create, and hopefully, potentially we can save a life. When we're discussing suicide, it is important to be mindful of the language that we use. Oftentimes we hear somebody say, well, they committed suicide, and that's often associated with negative connotation, and so that can bring on more stigma, and people that are struggling will be hesitant to reach out. And so instead we like to try to use the language that they died by suicide or it was a death by suicide. Another thing that we often hear is that people were successful in a suicide attempt. That's not really the word that we want to attach to it because it's not a success or an achievement. And so we instead use the terms completed suicide. So I think that our language surrounding how the conversation is held is very important, and that's something that anybody in the community can be mindful of, and it's an opportunity to educate someone else, maybe your friends or your family, on the proper language and the compassionate language to use when somebody is struggling with mental health or has lost somebody to suicide.
Where do people turn for help?
We have the Front Porch Coalition is available. 211 resources are a great place to start. We have the crisis care campus, and your medical providers. They're the front lines as well. I know law enforcement, if you reached out to law enforcement and said you're having a hard time, I think that we, as a community, anybody should be able to talk to anybody. And so it is important to have these conversations so that you know what to do if somebody comes to you and says, I'm not okay, I'm struggling, I'm having thoughts of suicide and I don't know what to do. And for you to be able to reach out to someone that maybe you're concerned about and initiate that conversation. I just ask for anybody that's struggling to stay. You are important, you do have a purpose, you are cared about, and you matter in this world.